Alrighty, we are back. We are back. 4 weeks out. Actually, a bit less. More like 3 weeks and 6 days out, 5 days out. I'm never really that good with knowing the exact dates. As I get closer to, obviously show day, and then I'll be a bit more exactly on top of it. But for now, around about 3 weeks and a little bit of change. The menu today, it's going to be chest, but I definitely feel like I need to hit either abs or abs. Oh, I mean, abs and abs. Fucking abs and or side delts. Very likely both, but so this is my normal process when I go into a workout, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to train on Monday. It's likely going to be chest. What do I want to do for chest? I want to do some sort of pec fly motion, and I want to do some sort of cable cross motion. I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's dedicate 3 sets each to that. All right, I'm at 6 sets. That leaves me, 45 minutes of a workout done. I've got maybe another 45 minutes left before I got to dip. And so what can I fit in the remaining 45 minutes that are going to be most conducive to retaining as much of the desired physique that I want to achieve on stage as possible? And the reason why it's abs and side delts is I think of when I last stimulated them through some training. And abs direct work last time was it's almost more than like a week ago, which is really bad. It's like maybe 10 days before they receive some direct, spinal flexion training. And so, they're well rested. They're super well rested. And if not re-stimulated, will run the risk of atrophying more than other muscle groups that have been stimulated during my caloric deficit. And so that's pretty much cutting for a bodybuilding show in a nutshell. And so abs are high on the priority list in terms of being hit for that exact reason. Side delts I had already trained last Monday, so 7 days between drinks for them. But even then, that's still quite long, Your muscle protein synthesis spikes 24 hours after a training bout in the local muscle, right? And after the 24 hours, it drops a lot faster than it rises. And in 48 hours, it's pretty much back to baseline. That's what the studies show. And so usually 2 to 3 days after you work out a muscle group, depending on how much volume you hammered it with, it's usually fully recovered and ready for that muscle protein synthesis to spike again. And the reason why I even talk about MPS is that is good. Its evil brother is muscle protein breakdown, right? And you want to imagine they're just constantly waging war against one another, yeah? And your muscle is like the battlefield. If muscle protein synthesis is winning, they plant trees and, they grow gardens and, they grow crops. It's great. It's really good for the land. You want that. And if muscle protein breakdown is winning, these guys are they're turning it into oil fields. They're killing all the animals. They're doing really bad stuff to the land, right? And so imagine your land is real estate, and that real estate are your muscles. And you want to be having that muscle protein synthesis team win at all costs. And the method to do that, hard bouts of resistance training. That's pretty much it, right? Now, you can talk a bit in terms of direct and non-direct work. And I think this does play a pretty significant role. It's also me trying to say that when I do the seated bike for an hour for my cardio, I'm directly... yes, I am directly, but not in a intense workout sense. I'm just pedaling for 60 minutes, but that's going to fire up the quads a little. And so that type of indirect work, I think, is really also going to add a bit in terms of muscle retention. But, speaking of all of this, it's pretty much just I don't want to undermine my own opinion, but it really is bro science at the end of the day. These are just hypotheses at best. Anecdotal stories, subject matter, me, sample size 1. Not really that good in terms of whether or not it would apply to the population. And so you always got to take with a grain of salt people's anecdotal experiences when it comes to their bodybuilding journey. Me, I just like talking about it because I think it's a fun thing to think about. Otherwise, what else has been happening? Golf trip with the boys. I was tempted to make an Instagram post about this, but it was like what is definitely slept on is like taking a break from training and enjoying the other aspects of a fulfilling life. Is that a bit too deep? I'm just driving to the gym at 2 o'clock in the Arvo, but pretty much how I like to think of my life is I have things that I enjoy doing that fill a cup. I don't know if that's like an Australian saying or not, but it fills my cup. But I have different cups. You know, I have one in terms of like my family and things I care about, people that I love and cherish. And included in that is also going to be like friends, right? Close friends, family members, direct and distant, blah, 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 blah. And I suppose they fill my whoa, you got it, lady. They fill my like social, maybe not even social, more like my emotional cup of feeling good and stuff. But there are other cups in existence, and a big one for me right now is my bodybuilding cup, right? It's like that is an interest of mine that I wish to pursue with my very best efforts. And certain cups you can't apply that type of mindset or effort towards, right? Because some of them you just sort of you feel it out. You can't really. It's not like you can dedicate a certain amount of hours and it'll reward you with something. That's sort of just what you set for yourself. And I totally forgot why I started talking about this. Whoops. Oh yeah, I was pretty much saying a weekend away with the boys, healing, by all accounts. Like honestly, I didn't train the 2 days. I just played golf on Saturday and Sunday, and just stayed overnight at a rather not rural, but like an hour and a half away from where I live. And so, yeah, it was so good. I feel so much more motivated. I'm feeling good, you know. And I'd credit that to just getting that cup filled over the weekend, and it had some flow-on benefits to maybe like your mood, your mindset, and your perspective on other things. And then who knows, it might benefit you doing something there too. It definitely has in terms of my training. I'm fucking locked in as fuck. Tracking fats is on the menu for this week. So we need to track fats. We're going to have to track sodium as well. So I'm thinking of just doing a double whammy. Go double bet. Track fats, track sodium, full macros. Target is 2,000 calories a week. 2,000 calories a day. Based on my current body weight, 70 kilos. And my activity levels, 10,000 steps a day, rather physically demanding job, sort of, maybe moderately. I won't say intense, but moderately physical job. And that puts my BMR at around, sorry, not my BMR, my TDEE, which is total daily energy expenditure. That puts it at, whoa, let me get back in here. That puts it, am I in frame? Oh, fuck. That puts my total daily energy expenditure at around about 2,800 calories at my current body weight. And so for me to lose another kilogram per week, so that I'll be around 67, potentially lighter by stage, I would need to eat at around about 1,600 calories a day. With 1,600 calories, weighing at around 60 to 68, 69 kilograms, I want to be consuming close to 150 grams of protein plus. And so if I use that as my first must-have in my macro profile, then I fill the rest with carbs and fats, right? And this is how you pretty much tailor your meal plan or your diet, your nutrition guide, right? You tailor it so that you'll try, let's just say, of the remaining macros, of the remaining macros, I'm gonna dedicate this much to carbs, this much to fats, and then you create a diet around that, right? And you try that diet, and it's like, fuck, I can't have any sauces, I can't use any oils, like this fat target is way too hard, it's unrealistic. Okay, well then see what you can do with upping the fats a bit, and then reducing the carbs, and see what sort of diet or try that diet rather, and see how you like it. And then again, if that doesn't work, then maybe you have to tailor it a bit more. Like you'll get an average of what your macros look like for the week, what you normally go at, what you're trying to achieve, and you just try to toggle those sliders a bit. Anyway, that's a lot of talking for the day. I'm almost at the gym. It's going to be chest, but we're definitely going to throw in some abs and some side delts. So let's just see you in there. Alrighty. Whilst I was warming up, the pec flight machine was taken. So I'm going to start with standing cable cross. No cross, just normal cross. Why? Because if I'm standing, I already lose the stability factor, and I just don't want to get too greedy and try to get extra. The more complex the movement, the harder it is to execute. And it might seem like nothing, but crisscrossing is a lot more than just straight up. Or I might just be imagining things. Anyway, this is what it looks like. And if I don't like it, there's a fucking bench right here. I'll just set up. But until then, we're trying to go squeeze this Maximus here. Ah. Not bad. I'm going to use a chair. Alrighty, nice and bright. It would be pure insanity to think that my shots would look any different in the same part of the gym without changing some settings around. And so I'm trying to find the perfect ISO setting so that I'm properly exposed here. Right now I've got zebra lines on the front part of my skin, but anyway, I didn't really like that. I didn't like balancing. I don't feel like I can control my scapula, protraction and retraction, well enough in that leaned over cable cross position. So I set up the bench pretty much. 2 more sets here. I'm going to go high to low here and target the lower pecs. And then I'm just going to finish off with the 3 sets of pec fly machine. But it'll be fun to do a lighter weight with the pec fly machine, because normally if I start with it, I'm pretty fresh. So I'm quite heavy on the pec fly. But it's also, or at least for me, it's equally fun using a lighter weight and still getting that same intense squeeze feeling on the machine. Anyway, that's for later. For now, decline cable cross. Oh. 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 That was all right. Not bad. Oh. Oh. Alrighty, it's pec fly time. How exciting. Not bad. All right, one thing I'm going to try whilst the weight is lower is that technically I don't need to brace my core as hard, if you know what I'm saying, right? If I'm moving a lighter load, the muscles required to stabilize don't need to fire as much, which in essence allows me to target the muscle fiber, the target muscle a bit better, right? In this case, it's going to be the pecs. So because it's a lighter weight and the chest is already pre-fatigued, I suppose the message here is utilize that to the best of your ability, and you don't need a max core brace with the lighter weight. You know, save a bit of the energy that you would have put there into fucking hammering out these horizontal shoulder adductions. You know what I mean? Anyway, this is what it looks like. That's not bad. We do that 2 more times. Almost pulled my fucking pec. Jesus. I wasn't kidding when I said I think I almost pulled my pec. I fucking felt that shit twang. Second last rep, I believe. End range position. Either my shoulder was in perfect placement and I got full contractile fiber engagement of the pec fibers, or that little electric shock feeling that I felt jolt across my pec. Not a good sign. So probably going to skip that one more and just settle with the 5 sets I've had for chest today. Call it a day. Move on to some side delts here. Still not really the most comfortable with this machine, so relatively light, but strapped on. Just trying to really engage the side delts, like really focus on it. Which sounds silly because you should be doing that every set. Like, you know, a gentle reminder doesn't hurt. Ugh. That's all right. Not bad. Let's move on. All right. Fortunately, the side delts did not tweak. Neck feels okay. Tricep rope extensions, 3 sets. Leg raises, 2 sets. Running out of time, so annoyingly, I might have to just blitz through this. Using straps, of course. Woo, scary. Let's lighten it and go 2 more. Ah. Nice. Great squeeze. One more, one more. Ah. Wow. Abs, let's go. Ah. All right, let's check the pump. Goodness. Ooh, I'm going for the better composed pose down, where it's only the upper body, and it just looks a little more, I suppose, a bit more striking on the eye. Anyway, I'm still getting a lot of terrible feedback in terms of my quarter turn, so let's just practice the whole routine real quick. Oops. 4 weeks out, a bit less. Whew. Let's see that side chest again. Not bad. Alrighty. I'm out of time. Not bad. Let's get out of here. Oh, and if you listen to this far, thanks for tuning in.